Hi, and welcome to another episode of Fitness and Friends. I am your humble host, Dr. Bob Ruano. Today on the show, we have Amanda Beadla. Amanda, aka Coach Tush, is a level 2 CrossFit instructor. She's built several CrossFit programs here in town from the ground up. She's best known for her no BS attitude and her ability to teach high-skilled CrossFit gymnastics, primarily due to her background as a collegiate gymnast. On a personal note, she was my CrossFit coach for 4 years, and we've had some moderate success with that. And what I realized about Amanda is that she knows her athletes inside and out. So she knew when to push them, and she knew when to dial it back a bit. But when I got to think about it, how much do we really know about her? She was somewhat of a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma. So today we're going to pull back the curtain and we're going to find out exactly what makes Coach Tush tick. So without further ado, Amanda Beadla. What's happening, Coach?
Oh, not much. Hey, happy to be here.
Thanks for joining us here in the Innovative Back Solutions studio.
Yes, it's so fun.
So before we get into today, I want to kind of share with everyone how our paths first crossed. So
I remember.
You do remember this. Okay,
good.
Good. I thought it was maybe just me.
No.
It was 2015, and it was the CrossFit Open season. The gym I was training at, they weren't an affiliate, so we had to go to an affiliate to do these workouts. And 2015 was kind of critical for me. I just turned 45, so I was excited about entering into the Masters division and maybe making the qualifier.
Potentially.
And potentially. And then who knows? I mean, the games was obviously, I think anyone who first gets into CrossFit, that's your ultimate goal, and it's a great goal to chase. I knew of you. I heard of you. I heard that you were this gymnast and you're a really awesome athlete. And it turns out you were my judge for most of those, if not all of those workouts.
Yeah, I think I judge you for all of them.
Yeah, and which was great for me for two reasons. One, I think because of your gymnastics background, you had you know how to calm your athletes because you had plenty of experience calming yourself prior to a big event. But secondly, because I heard of your athletic prowess, I didn't want to embarrass myself. So I wanted to bust my ass as hard as I could to impress the judge. And it worked. You remember that one handstand?
Yeah, and you did it on the concrete. And who is this guy?
I had bruises on my head for weeks. So anyway, that season, I was kind of a magical season. I finished, I think, 52nd and then ended up making the games that year. Yeah. That was a high and low year. The highest of highs and the lowest of lows, from going from that. And then, I had some personal things going on, which made it was just a crazy year. So anyway.
A lot going on.
Anyway, so yeah, you've always, you've always kind of shared a soft spot in my heart that, hey, you've been on this journey with me from day one. So it's pretty cool. So anyway, I'm excited to introduce you to those who don't know you. And let's start with a little background. So I mentioned in the intro, collegiate gymnast, and from Wisconsin too, right?
Wisconsin.
Which right now, the last 5 years, has been home to the CrossFit Games. So it's kind of like all come around full circle here for you. But anyway, give me a little bit of background about your athletic endeavors.
So I have always been a gymnast. My parents enrolled me basically when I was 2. Yeah. My older siblings were in it, so they kind of took the end of the gym, and so I just got thrown right in at a young age. Tried every other sport possible because I was a very busy child, so they were trying to wear me out. Didn't really like anything else. Was not really good at anything else. I tried everything horrible. Right. So stuck with that. Then I did 2 years of college gymnastics. Yeah. And then I had an injury and I had a really bad case of mono. So I stopped after that. And then I didn't really know how to exercise. So I took.
That's crazy. For all of that training. Yeah. And didn't really
because I've always been told what to do. So going and having to do it myself, I was like, I don't know what to do. So I did the classic college girl elliptical and abs for a while. And then
you say elliptical and abs?
Yes. Yeah, I still love an elliptical. Whenever we go to hotels, I'm like, do they have an elliptical? Because I want to go on it. Zach's rolling his eyes right now.
Hi, Zach.
Yeah.
By the way, her husband is the CrossFit Whisperer as well. So,
Yes.
But anyway, we'll have him on later.
Yes, be ready. And so my older sister was getting married, and she wanted to lose a couple pounds. So I was like, well, let's run a half marathon. Mm-hmm. So we did that. So I did running and yoga for the longest time.
That's great. That's a good combination.
For like 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I didn't know about the yoga or the running.
Yeah.
You know, because
she's not a runner now, but
yeah. Well, you know, it's because you and I have similar makeups, similar body compositions, where we tend to carry a little more muscle. There you go, right? And so yeah, running is, we don't typically have the makeup for that, but
not easy.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing I really knew that I could do without like making a fool of myself. Because where I went to school, there was like the big track and then the weight room.
Yeah.
Well, in the weight room, there's a bunch of dudes doing bicep curls that were going to offer their help. And I was like,
well,
I'm not interested in that. Yeah. And so I just took classes, and then I got into training. Actually, someone told me, one of my old coaches, who's like a huge mentor to me now, Mitch, he was like, you should be a trainer. And I was like, no, like that's ridiculous. But then I got to thinking about it, and I was like, that would be so fun. Yeah. Like, because at the time I was coaching kids, like ages 2 to like college age gymnastics. And I was like, yeah, that'll be fun to like just take it in a whole new direction. So I took my NASM cert as I was kind of moving down to Florida, and got into CrossFit kind of forcefully. Didn't really want to do it.
What was it about it? Was it the...
it was like all the stereotypes. Yeah, like you're going to get hurt. People are just doing everything really fast without good form, which is, if you have a good coach, the opposite of what CrossFit is. Yeah. So I had all these like bad connotations in my head, and so I was like, okay, I'll try one class. Yeah. And however many years later, here I am.
Hooked.
Hooked. I love it. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny you mentioned about the kind of the misconception of what CrossFit's about and about the injury. But I think coming from a gymnastics background, that probably, I imagine that only helped you as a coach. You know, having keeping a close eye on technique and form, and and knowing when to pull your athletes back and dial them down a little bit.
Well, and I think it kind of starts with me too. Like I have fairly decent body awareness. So I know like if I do this or if I shift this way, this is what's going to happen. So me being able to feel that, and then just explaining to people, because I've been coaching since I was 14, like some sort of something I've been coaching. So just being able to read people, like I coach you very differently than I coach like George over here. So just reading people and giving them what they need. Yeah.
No, I
think it's helped.
And we see that. And again, so, you know, I think Glassman once said, you know, give me a gymnast or an Olympic weightlifter, and I'll make a great CrossFit athlete out of them. So, that's a lot of transfer there. So you started at Gainesville Health Fitness, right? Okay. And you were doing just group classes there? When did you kind of step into the CrossFit world at that point?
So I'm trying to think. I moved here in 2012. Just did some like personal training stuff and group training before that. And then when we started the CrossFit program there, John Connolly at the time was running it. So he's like, you'd be great at this. And I'm like, So I was like, okay. And then I ended up getting my cert. And then I think I started learning everything right before the 2014 Open. Yeah. So like every week they'd release a workout, and I'd be like, I've never done an overhead squat. Like, here we go. And I remember the one workout with overhead squats and chest-to-bar pull-ups. I was like, psh, I can do pull-ups all day. Chest-to-bar, piece of cake. Right. No, I think I got more no reps than actual reps. So.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. So it's funny to like redoing that the next year. I was like,
destroy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But your learning curve was probably pretty steep, I suspect. Because it come 2015.
Yeah, I think I just knew what to expect more.
Yeah, because in 2015, you know, when we met, they said you already had the reputation of being this phenomenal CrossFit athlete. So in a year's time, you made some moves. So you were at Tioga for a couple of years?
Yes, I was there for 2014, like a year and a half, 2 years maybe. Okay.
And then at some point you made the move. So at Go Primer where I was training, they weren't an affiliate, but then once I made the games, they decided, well, I guess we need to be a CrossFit affiliate as well. And this was all unbeknownst to me. Then you guys kind of got together.
Yeah,
and
we
you
did.
came over, and then and started that program, and that was those were the golden years.
Yes, I loved that garage.
Yeah,
there was just the CrossFit.
Oh yeah,
fun.
that was a cool setup. That is a cool setup. And you've made another move since then. But let's back up, because something pretty big happened to your life about 2 years ago.
Yes.
And so tell us a little bit about that. You took on a new role.
Became a mom.
Yeah.
I have a 2.5-year-old and then an 8-week-old. And
she has
it's been a whirlwind.
Yeah.
A whirlwind. So learning curve for sure.
Yes. It's all of a sudden the deck is restacked and priorities change big time.
Huge change.
Yeah.
So prior to having kids, I was definitely like, I want to train hard. I want to go to the gyms, qualify for regionals, do all these big competitions, and really just like making Wadapalooza and some of those bigger competitions is like you make it and you win.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even matter how you do there.
Correct.
But after I had Elliot, like I still in my head was like, oh, I'm going to bounce back. I'm going to do this. I'm going to still compete. And then as time goes on, I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm putting so much energy and effort into this bucket when in the long run, like, my family is going to be way more important. Yeah. So mentally, that's still challenging. Like, I have an 8-week-old and I'm still like, I want to get back in shape. But I'm not sure about competing. Right. Like, that's not even in my forefront.
How old are you?
33. I'm like,
33.
How old am I?
So, well, the timeline might wind up pretty good.
Yeah, you know that 35?
You knew where I was going with that, right?
I did. Well, and I kind of joked about that before I had Cooper, my youngest, and I was like, I'll have 2 kids, bounce back, and make it to the games, but I don't know. Like, we'll see.
I totally get that. We create goals at one point in our life. And if we never go back and reassess those goals to see if they are still worthy of our energy, we just keep plugging away towards that, and maybe realize, wait a second, I don't even want to do this anymore, right? Yeah. Because so I think it's good just every once in a while check in. Hey, is this still the direction I want to go? And if it's not, hey, that's okay. Yeah. Create new goals.
Well, and that's kind of the cool thing about CrossFit is you can do that competitive aspect, or you can just do it to like have a good workout and get in, get out, get everything, strength, stretching, cardio, all in one workout. Yeah. But you don't necessarily have to do the competitive aspect of it. Well,
I mean, that opens up a can of worms for us here, because, in any other sport, and let's use gymnastics. 'Cause I had a little gymnastics background as well. I took it through throughout my freshman year of high school, and then I quit because I didn't want my friends knowing that I did gymnastics with a bunch of girls. And so I started wrestling. Thought it was a smarter idea to wrestle with a bunch of sweaty boys. If I go back to that young man, I'd tell him something. So anyway, but yeah, so with gymnastics, you might be in the gym 3 or 4 hours, but you're not doing routines for 3 or 4 hours straight. You're working on skills. You're taking pieces from the routines and distilling them down. And then once in a while, you put everything together. And I think that's maybe where the lines get blurred with CrossFit, is that people are unsure of whether are they doing this as a sport or as a regimen. So they almost, if it's a regimen, like you said, it should be the best hour of your day. Yeah. If you're doing it as a sport, it can last longer, but you're not training that 1 hour. You're not training like that for 3 or 4 straight hours.
No. Well, and then again, it's the training versus competing.
Yes.
And I think those lines get blurred a lot too. So there's a lot, because in CrossFit you have the strength, you have the conditioning, you have the weightlifting, which I think is different from strength. Right. In my mind, you have the gymnastics. Like, there's so many things that go into it, and there's so much to work on that if you want to be competitive, like you have to train all those things.
Yeah.
And so you see people, like, you want to be like them, obviously, but like if you're not willing to put in the sleep, the nutrition, everything, like you shouldn't be over here and you need to kind of stay in your lane. And that's kind of even where I'm struggling right now. Like I still want to like go to that competitive because that's what I know. Like my whole life I've been competing in something, but right now I need to stay in my little fitness area and just do my hour and get out.
Just wait. Yes. Just wait. And again, in a couple of years time, maybe that changes for you.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I get it. I'm on the fence every year. I think you asked me.
You definitely are.
Are you going for it this year?
You've been on the fence.
Maybe we'll see what happens.
Potentially. If I make it, I make it.
I think the hard part, like for me, it's I guess it's an ego thing. It's like I find like that's my identity, and if I don't have that, and maybe this is what you struggle with too. If I don't have that, then like who am I? I don't think I'm like a very interesting person.
Yeah, you feel I have all these expectations.
Yes.
Like if I do this, I'm not just gonna do it. Like I play to win.
Yeah.
So that's like a hard thing to like fully commit to that, especially in this like point of my life. Like I can't put everything into that bucket that I need to because there's too many other things, like being a mom, a wife, kind of helping out with 100, doing the CrossFit teens, doing the kids program. Like it's a lot, and that's definitely more important to me than competing, but that's always going to be in the back of my head.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever get rid of it.
No, and that's a good thing.
Yeah,
I think that's a good thing. If you're, if you have the ability to keep it in check. Now, you mentioned a new young family, and you switched gears again, and you were a staple at Primal, and now you're over at 100, and we talked a little bit about that. I mean, that must have been like a tough decision to make, but at the same time, with having the kids now, it makes some decision. If you know your why, then it makes a lot of decisions easier to make.
Yeah, and even that was a really hard decision.
For sure.
Yes,
for sure.
Zach and I spent a lot of hours talking about that, and like I love Primal and the community, and it's such a great place. But for me, at this point in my life, I just needed something different.
Yeah. Yeah. So my wife just struggled with a decision like that, but ultimately that's what it came down to. What best serves, our hierarchy of priorities, and, her having to work like nights and weekends. That wasn't it.
Yeah.
So, but still a hard decision. I mean, it's one
so
on
hard.
Yeah, on paper it makes sense, but emotionally, it's hard because again, her identity was as a head coach, and so like I said, it'd be like me giving up, competing because
it's hard.
Yeah.
Well, and when you're at a place like that for so long, like they are your family.
Yeah.
Like they talk about gym communities and like. It was a family. Like I went there and everyone knew you. We talked, like you got to know each other on a personal level. It wasn't just like superficial. And so it's like a whole new switch.
Yeah. And doing that, so you've been at 3 different places. And I kind of work out all over the place. Primarily, 99% of the time I'm in my garage.
Yeah.
And so there's not a lot of community going on in my garage. Otherwise, the post office.
Well, and that's actually why I went
to the postman walks by once in a while.
100 initially. I was like, I need some adult time in my life. So. Yeah.
And at each of these places when I've gone, each place has like its own like personality.
Yes.
It's community. And, I was wondering, and I asked you this previous, but how much of that is what the coach and the management brings, and how much of that is just the collection of people that train there?
I think it's probably like 50-50. It's a good balance.
Yeah.
Because obviously every coach is going to have its own like flair.
Yeah.
Every class is going to have its own feel. Like if you go to a 5 a.m. class versus a 9:30 a.m. class versus a 6 p.m. class, like there's different groups of people in those classes. So I think within a gym you have a community, and then within each like time you have a community.
That's an interesting way to think. And with that closeness, drama.
There's a little drama.
You're going to have drama.
Yeah.
But you know what?
No matter where you go.
But I think of, we automatically think of that as a bad thing. And, but, you have a Thanksgiving dinner and you have your, uncles coming and yeah, there's going to be drama, but it's a family. And that's why, if there was no relationship amongst people, there'd be no drama because nobody would care. And so, I've been in the middle of that myself and, it's just I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have it where we just go in there and train and work out, and not have that bond or that connection.
No, like it's fun sitting 10, 15 minutes after class and just chilling, talking. Yeah,
I love it. Well, I have a couple questions for you. Man, time is flying here.
I know.
Today. Golly, whenever he plays that music, there's a little
Dang
setback. Yeah, exactly. There's so many places to go. Oh, by the way, you like the headset? Tell me why.
I do. Brittany.
Oh yeah, Brittany. Getting Brittany.
He's like, no.
So I found a cool, an old John Wooden quote that, and John Wooden, the legendary basketball coach, and it reminded me of you. A good coach can change a game. A great coach can change a life. And we talked a little earlier. When you instruct people on getting their first muscle up or learning how to master double unders, it's not it's good that skill is learned by them and they're excited about it. But what did you say? It's more about teaching them that they can do anything. Yeah, they can accomplish anything if they just put forth the work. So that's
got to show up.
Exactly. So that's how it changes from a game to changing someone's life. I love that. I love that. So I have two questions for you. This first one. Have you ever faced or endured a failure that you thought at the time was devastating, like there'd be no coming back from, yet in hindsight, you look at it and realize it was kind of a blessing in disguise?
See, and I'm not sure if I count this as a failure per se, but I think just so I moved down here, followed a boy, not Zach, and things obviously did not work out, but I think just making that decision to stay here and not move back home, like I don't think it was necessarily a failure,
right? But
I think that was the biggest turning point in my life.
I like that.
And I've met so many awesome people, good mentors. Gainesville's such an amazing community.
Yeah.
All over.
Yeah.
So I think it just really helped
awesome
make
husband,
me into the person I am.
2 beautiful kids, 2 beautiful healthy kids.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that being a major turning point.
Yes.
One last question. If you could
I think you know the answer to this question.
If you could pick just one exercise to do for the rest of your life,
guess what it is?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I mean, now that you mentioned yoga, I'm thinking yoga. I don't know.
It's not yoga.
Okay.
No, yoga's too hard for me to do.
Yes. What is it?
It's a barbell movement.
A thruster?
A thruster.
Yes.
Hey-o.
You know what? That's the movement I would pick as well.
Yeah, it's so fun.
It's.
If I could pick a workout, it would be Fran. You know how I feel about Fran.
Absolutely.
But you only gave me one exercise. So.
One exercise. A thruster. I agree with that. Squatting, pressing, core stability, endurance.
Yeah, a little butt lift while you go.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. Well, hey, I really enjoyed talking with you, and
awesome.
I have 3 pages of stuff that we didn't even cover that I'd love to go into, so maybe another time.
Yes.
Anyone who wants to kind of get involved in this CrossFit thing and with a tremendous coach, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, I am currently working at 100, but what I would really recommend is trying a bunch of different gyms, see which one has the right fit for you. Like we said earlier, every gym has its own community. So just finding the right one that works in your schedule with your values and making it happen.
I like that.
And just showing up.
I like that.
You don't have to do the full workout right away. Ease in.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
It was awesome.
I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any questions for either one of us, just reply down below and or ask down below and we'll reply to you. And right. And like us, subscribe. Hey, Bob, great show. Keep it going. Thank you very much, Charles. Appreciate that. And go out there. I started CrossFit when I was 43. And so at any age, you can start really, whether it's CrossFit or yoga practices or
running.
Yeah, running. Just start.
Yeah.
One day at a time. Thanks and have a great week.